This video is going to show you how to change out the high temp fuse, thermostat, and heating element on a Samsung or Maytag style dryer. Safety first, always disconnect power before servicing any electrical appliance. And when you're taking these machines apart, remember the internal edges are quite sharp. They will cut you, so be very careful not to get cut. If you need to know how to take this machine apart to do this repair, click here and it will take you to the video that shows how to take it apart. Okay, once you've got it apart and you're down to the bottom here, first thing you want to do is remove the heating element housing assembly. There's two screws on that bracket on the bottom that holds it to the base, but on this style there's also a screw right here at the front that mounts it to the bracket, and there's no other screws that are hidden or anything, so we can just remove that one screw and then we'll have ability to remove the heating element. You can see I've already disconnected all of the wires. If you haven't disconnected the wires, make sure that you're very careful when you disconnect the wires. You wiggle and pull on the actual terminal end, not the wire. If you pull on the wire, you have to pull the terminal end right off. So you have to be diligent with that so you don't damage the wires. Okay, now that I've got that one screw out, I'm going to lift up off of the base of the bracket and then lift it up a little bit and pull straight out. Now you've got the whole heating assembly in your hand. It's got the heating element inside it, and on the side here it's got the high temp fuse, the thermostat, and of course where the terminal connectors are for the heating element coils. Sit this down, we'll change the camera angle here so you can see better what I'm doing. And it's quite simple to change these parts out. I'm using a Phillips head screwdriver because that's what this has on it. It's Phillips head screws. Just remove the screws that are mounting it on there. And there's two screws holding this high temp fuse. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those. And also, if you did have to change the heating element, you need to remove both of these first because they connect the two halves of the heating element housing assembly together. And in order to separate that to get the heating element out, you'd have to do this as well. On most of these Samsungs, the heating element only comes as a complete unit with the housing, so you don't have to take this apart, it's already all together. But some of them you can actually buy just the heating element coils, and if you're fortunate enough to have that, if you're doing the heating element, it's cheaper. You can go ahead and change the internal coils only. And so here I am removing the two screws and the thermostat. So that's pretty simple. Now if I was going to change the heating element, there's about 7 screws on the flanges on the sides. I'm going to point them out, that are holding the clamshells together, the top and the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I was changing the heating element coil, I remove all 7 of those, lift the top off, lift out the heating element coil, put in the new one, and then put those 7 screws back in with it all sandwiched back together, and then you'll be ready to reinstall the thermostat or high temp fuse first, I guess, that's what I'm doing here. And you can see I'm just using the same screws, Phillips head screwdriver, and reinstall or install the new high temp fuse. And the other screw here. Once this one is installed, get everything aligned, be able to install the thermostat. Okay, now that that's done, almost done. Okay, now I'll go ahead and install the thermostat. They can go either way on both of these. Doesn't matter which direction current flows through them or anything like that, so don't let that bother you. Just put it on there and attach it and you'll be good to go. Screw in the bottom one, then the top one. Okay, let me get them all the way tight. You don't want to get too aggressive with tightening these down. This sheet metal type stuff can strip, but snug is good enough. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and reinstall the heating element assembly back into the dryer. So let me change the camera angle here so you can see what I'm doing. Set this down. Okay, there's 2 slots basically at the end there, and there's 2 little notched pieces of metal tabs, I guess, that hold it tight. So that's how you align it when you go to slide that back in. And you want to make sure that those, okay, on here there's some slots also, that the bottom of this heating element assembly, that little tab, has to go in the slot on that mounting base or mounting bracket. So I'm going to do that, be looking for that as well. Slide that in where the tabs are, where the notches line up, then align that tab with the slot on the mounting base. And be careful not to get cut on all this stuff. As I told you earlier in the beginning of the video, all these internal edges are very sharp. So hopefully you didn't forget that. I'm installing that one screw that we removed earlier to remove it. And it'll be, okay, now that it's installed, check it, make sure. Next up, I will go ahead and reinstall the wires back where they came from. And you just slide them onto the terminals till they're all the way on, snug and tight. And of course the current goes into the element, then back out the element, and then back over into this thermostat, and then back out of the thermostat. So just follow along with the wires where they came from, and then it goes out on this wire, goes over to the fuse, catch it there, and then the other hot wire goes into the fuse there. So now they're all connected up. That's how you reinstall it. If you need help on how to put the machine back together, see my video for that as well. Thank you.